Hey, what is going on, New Hope family? We're back with our Life Journal Jumpstart. We're glad you guys could join us. And today we're jumping right in with the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28. And we start off with a message from God to the false prophet Hananiah. And what we know is the exiles leave. And what Hananiah prophesies is that within 2 years, the captives will return and everything will be brought back to normal. But what we know of Hananiah as we read the chapter is that he is a liar and a deceiver, and what he tries to do is contradict the word of God. And we see that he pays the consequence and eventually pays with his life. We know as the story continues in chapter 29, the famous chapter of Jeremiah, we read in chapter 29 verse 11 that God says, as we know, I know the plans I have for you. I think what we forget is that this chapter is written in the most darkest of times, when the people of God are in the greatest despair and sadness and darkness, that God speaks a message of hope to them. I'm not done with you, I haven't forgotten you, and I won't give up on you. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future. In chapter 11, this is the chapter 30, this is the beginning chapter of what they call the chapters of consolation. And we read here in chapter 30 that this is actually written a year before Israel's captivity, and that God is prophesying a season of restoration, of hope and beauty. And in verse 11, God says, I am with you and I will save you, declares the Lord, though I completely destroy all other nations among which I scatter, I will not destroy you. And even throughout all the trials and all the persecution and all the suffering, God is redeeming them and giving them a bright future. As we go to our last chapter of the day, 1 John chapter 3, John is encouraging them to identify with God. You're no longer a part of the world per se, but you are children of God. Now, what does that actually mean? It means that you love goodness and you love what is right. You love the truth. And would we let that display in our life? Would we let love be the defining factor? And as we read through 1 John 3, John encourages us to love one another. And in verse 24, as it closes, it says, whoever keeps this commandment abides in God, and God in us. And by this we know that as he abides in us by the Spirit he has given us, that God is with us, and that we would identify with God. And that's our reading for today, and we'll jump back in tomorrow with some more reading. But until then, hope you guys have a great day.